Good morning. Happy Sunday. Yesterday I was in class all day long and it was a lovely day, a lovely sunny spring day, and I was indoors from basically 9 to 6 sitting in a desk learning about how to prune, how to do aesthetic pruning. And it was very interesting, but it was hard to be indoors all day, especially since it's a little cloudy today and the rain is on the way and there's a whole long list of things that need to be done. I'm sitting out in the vegetable garden because one of the first things I need to get done today is to cut back the crimson clover cover crop that's been growing in these beds. It's getting taller than the onions and taller than the garlic, so that means it's worn out its welcome. I was hoping to let it bloom for the bees before I cut it down, but I think I'm going to have to do some triage work here before it gets too big. So I'm going to actually use a very small pair of clippers and clip these off at the roots so that the roots underneath the ground die and provide food for all the creatures that live underground. And then I'll take this beautiful green foliage and lay it on top like a mulch, and it'll decompose, and then eventually we're going to get more compost and put it on top of that, and it'll continue to decompose and feed the soil. And anything that I have extra I'll put in my bucket here and take to other beds that might need a little bit of help. So that's my first job for today. I'm not sure what else is going to happen. There's mulch that still needs to be moved. That just takes forever. And I was hoping to put some more apigard in the beehive, but since the rain is coming, I don't feel comfortable doing that to them right now because they're not going to be able to escape it if they want to when it's raining. I have a buckeye that needs to be dug up, and I'm hoping to make a compost sifter, and I'm hoping to get out in the hills and get a hike before the rain comes. And I'm also hoping to go back to school and into my section that I'm working on there in the garden and weed. So there's a lot to do today, and I don't know if I have all the time in the world to do it, but while I'm at it, I thought I'd bring you along and maybe show you some of what I'm doing and some of what's happening here in the garden now that it's spring. So let's get started on our work. Okay, that was a crap job. I can't lie to you and tell you that was fun. That was about 90% grunt work and 10% fun. The fun comes from the fact that, and sorry about the lawnmower, somebody's mowing their lawn. The fun part comes from the fact that I've just increased the nutrition in the soil like so much, and that's really exciting. The growing of the clover, which is a nitrogen fixer, helps get all those minerals down in the soil. It covers the soil during the winter when you're trying to keep weeds from growing, and you're trying to keep erosion from happening, which isn't as big a concern in raised beds, but it's still a concern. So all of those things are really important. Shades the ground. It's a companion plant. Snails might eat that instead of my garlic. I don't know. Who knows? It's helpful. And then when you cut it down, you just cut it down right there at the crown, and underneath the ground, all those roots will decompose and feed all the microbes, and then you just lay it on top. Can you see that? There you go. Like a living mulch. Well, not living anymore. It was a living mulch, and now it's going to be a dead mulch, but it'll lay on top of the ground and continue to protect it and continue to decompose, continue to give nutrients to the soil. This is all important because we're planning on doing tomatoes and peppers this whole summer in all of these beds, and those are all heavy feeders, so they need a lot of nutrition. So I've just increased the nutrition in the soil a lot. But there are some things I would do differently. I've done this before, but I've never done it with onions and garlic, and I have to say that because garlic and onions are both a long growing crop, I had to cut in and around them with this cover crop, whereas if I'd grown the cover crop with something like lettuce, I would have come out, harvested the lettuce when I needed it, and then I would have just done a complete mowing down of the cover crop, and that would have been a lot easier. This way I had to kind of get in there and I had to nitpick, make sure I wasn't cutting the garlic or the onions, make sure I wasn't cutting the drip lines, because that would make Tom very upset. So I might do that differently next time. But anyway, that's the whole science behind that, and it's a really important practice. If you have small spaces especially, and you can't rotate crops as much as you'd like, this is a really smart way of taking care of nutrition. there were some brassicas growing in with the cover crop, probably from last year. So I've got a whole bunch of them, and I'm just going to give them to the chickens. And here's the chicken that's not doing so well. See how she hops? She's just hopping. So I talked to the vet about it, and he felt that it might be renal failure. But I have to say, she's eating, she's drinking, she's pooping, she's laying a very occasional egg. See that foot? That's that right foot. But look, she's interested in those brassicas and those greens. So, and her comb looks okay. It's not as red as I'd like it to be. I think I'm just gonna wait and see. So, hey, you just came back from the hardware store. What's happening here?
Well, I picked up a couple of supplies. Elizabeth's looking for,
Me.
You are looking for a sifter for the compost, so that we can take the compost that's been, percolating away, and shovel it through a sifter to get things that are to weed out the large clumps of stuff, and get left with stuff that you can actually put into the raised beds or pots or what have you.
So we have some redwood,
right,
and we have some
half-inch hardware cloth
for my screen.
Yep.
Cool. I'll check back in with you and see how that goes. Check out the hop vines. So Tom put the strings up. To me, it looks like summer when these strings are up. And here they are coming out. Do you remember, Tom? Do you remember which one this is? So this is Centennial.
Centennial.
This is a Centennial.
Very good.
We should relabel these with popsicle sticks.
It starts with the C.
Anyway, this Centennial is really going for it.
Yep.
Pretty soon it'll be climbing up. I guess we're going to have to trim these.
Right. One of the things that we didn't do last year that I think I'm going to need to be a little more aggressive about this year is you see all of the shoots that are coming up here. And I think what I need to be better about this year is trimming down to just 1 or 2 or 3 shoots.
Maybe 1 per string?
Yeah, 1 per string. One of the things we noticed last year was that, they grew, and then they stopped. And really, it should be that they're able to grow and go and start working their way across. And I think we'll get, if we channel all of the energy into just a few vines, then that might work a little better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
It's hard to cut any of these down.
Oh boy, that was the thing. You hate to do it.
This one's obviously a winner.
Yeah,
that's going to stay, and it looks like maybe this might be the main one for this.
Right.
But you're going to have a bit of a task.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to let them grow for a little bit, just to kind of see if there's any obvious winners, and then go from there. These are coming up a little earlier than they did last year. Remember, last year we just got them, and so I wasn't able to order them until the beginning of March, and I don't think they showed up until
April. This is a little California buckeye. You see the palmate compound leaves, and I wish I could show you how it grows. Maybe when I dig it up I can. Buckeyes are these big fruits, and this is a California buckeye. This is not like the Ohio buckeye. California buckeyes are endemic to this area, and they're lovely, lovely plants. And the reason I've been cutting it down every year is because the blooms are poisonous to bees. And they can take a little of it, but they can't take a lot of it. And I just don't want to take it out, because why put that stress on them? So I need to take this out. And I was thinking about maybe digging it up this time instead of just cutting it down, and seeing if maybe I could donate it somewhere. So, because it's a lovely plant. It's just not one I want here in my garden. And also it's crowding out these blueberries. Now check this out. So a lot of these blossoms have fallen, and they're already, look at the bell shape of where the fruit is going to come. They're already blue. Isn't that cool? I think blueberries are just so cool. You can tell they're going to be blueberries, right? Because they're blue. So those flowers fall off, and then the fruit forms inside there. That's the ovary of the fruit down deep in those blooms. So we're going to have a lot of blueberries this year, which makes me so happy. Hello, tomatoes. Check these babies out. Aren't they looking gorgeous? Oh, I'm so thrilled. I'm so ready for some tomatoes. And they're also different. Like this one is a hybrid, Martha Washington. And then look at this leaf. This is an heirloom. Oops, there we go. Rosso Sicilian. That has a cool leaf. And then right next to it, I have this Brandywine. Has a potato leaf. And they're also different and also interesting. looking. The ones that are very, very droopy, like this, are the paste tomatoes. Always droopy. And here's some peppers. They're doing pretty well down here. They're so much slower. I should have started the peppers first. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that everything's doing really well in here. There's something going on here that I want you to see. There's like a little fight. I don't know if they're trying to get rid of this bee or... What in the world is happening? It's like a fight. She is not letting that other bee in. You cannot go in. You shall not pass. But why? Is it a bee that's trying to rob the hive? Something's wrong here. I've got bees crawling all over this camera and on my arm, so I'm gonna stop filming right here and disturbing them. I'm making herb stuffed pork chops tonight for dinner, and the recipe calls for some fresh herbs, and there's really nothing like coming out to the garden and picking fresh herbs. I can't express how fabulous it is. If you do nothing else but grow fresh herbs, you will be so satisfied with your garden. They're so expensive in the store, and it's so unnecessary to pay those prices when you could have gorgeous herbs growing for very little money. So take a hint from me and do it. Hey, it's done!
All right.
Look at that. That's perfect. Let's give it a shot. Let's try it out. Okay, I got the shovel.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I've also got the pitchfork over here, or the gardening fork. The D-handled spading fork, I've just learned this is called. So I had to learn in my tools lab. So you can see this compost is still pretty lumpy. There's some good stuff in there, but I need to screen it out. So this'll really be great. Here comes the wheelbarrow.
And I would...
Okay. Here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, put it there. And let's see how this... Oh, man, I'm going to have to use the spading shovels. Oh, there's some good fat worms. Or maybe it would be easier,
You can
instead
also...
of using the shovel to do that, maybe if I just...
You just shake it.
Ouch, except this is a little sharp.
It is, yeah.
So gloves, maybe. Well, let's just see, just so we can see. Ow. Look at that.
All right.
Ooh, and a couple of the worms made it in there.
Yahoo.
This is great.
Yay.
I love it.
Okay.
There's a plant here that I am so excited about this year. It's a hydrangea. It's not native. It has white blossoms. My mother-in-law, Tom's mom, bought it for Adam the day that he finished his treatment for leukemia when he was 5 years old. He had been in chemo for 3.5 years, and so she wanted to send something to commemorate the end of treatment, and this was it. And I planted it somewhere where it didn't get much sun, which I don't think it needs. And then I decided it was getting too much sun or something, and so I transplanted it here. Anyway, that's been many years ago. It has never bloomed since the very first year we had it. And this year, so it's been 10 years since it bloomed, and this year these buds are all over it. It's a lovely plant. It climbs up our railing every year. It has this attractive branching, pretty foliage. But I've always wanted it to bloom, and this year it's gonna. And I'm so thrilled. I wish Joan, Tom's mom, was still on computers because she'd be so excited to see that. It makes us very, very happy. So thank you, Joan, and yay for 10 years off treatment for Adam, and a fitting celebration for that this year. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate you watching these videos and reading our blog. If you ever have any questions about what we're doing, please leave that in our comments section. We love questions, and we love trying to figure out the answer together. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye.